into practice, from Josh all the way down through undrafted free agents to players who were here on a tryout. So I thought first I'd give a shout out to Adam and to his staff. Honestly, the entire offseason, these guys have absolutely been putting it in, from the grind and work ethic to get after it for the team. It's been unreal. So from my standpoint, I know they speak for everybody on the team, and we appreciate that. So the vets have been here for a few weeks and have been putting that part of our off-season program together, and it's been cool to see them connect what they're working on, what skills specifically to improve upon, and then we'll add the members here from this weekend onto the team beginning on Monday, and that'll be the first time that we'll all be ready to get rocking as a crew. So thank you. And so with all that said, let's get started with you guys and questions today.
Dan, how's it going? I guess just first day impressions. I know it's what it is, but just what kind of stood out to you from some of your guys, mainly the draft picks, and what are you kind of looking for at this stage of the process?
I want to see the learning. What's going to be taken from the field, and how can we, from the classroom and bring it onto the field. As a coach, you want to hear this communication that takes place at, on offense, on defense, on the special team side. We don't do a full 11-on-11 team. So we do that in a walkthrough setting just to get the plays and get some reps. And then out on the field, a lot of individual, just really to specifically dial in on some skills and that type of work. And these are the playbook plays, but these are the skills needed for those plays. And that's where individual begins, and you go from that. And then we'll do some 7-on-7 as far as the practice goes. But the bulk of it really, Ben, is think of like onboarding. These are the standards. These are the things that are important to us. These are the ways that we go about, and it doesn't just take place over one weekend. It takes place, all the way up through here and into training camp. And this is an excellent team to come be a part of, knowing that there are people here that are going to help them be, their very best.
I know a lot of people ask you specific questions about some of the guys here, so let me ask you a broader one about the roster, and specifically the defensive line room. You guys obviously did make a lot of moves this offseason, maybe not some of the ones that people were expecting necessarily, and I'm just curious, when you went into the offseason for you, what was the plan with the defensive line, maybe specifically defensive end, and how did it play out to you that you ended up kind of getting the type of guys that you got?
Yeah, we're pumped to add, the guys that we did to the crew, and so that's been nice part of the off-season to see them and what roles, and then as we go through the off-season into training camp, those specific things will kind of work their way out and through the roles. But it's been a good start to the off-season, adding the new guys to it. So yeah, I'm pumped to what we've seen so far.
I guess what's it more about, if you had to put run defense, obviously was a bit of an issue last year. Young pass rushers, was it more about, hey, we need to maybe shore up some guys with the run defense?
I think it was really just the identity and how we want to play, and so I wouldn't say it's one versus the other. I don't think necessarily in just those terms, but there are specific traits that you want, and the size and athleticism. So those are part of it, but I wouldn't just categorize, say it's only this or only that.
With Trey Amos, there was a report about his back injury that was revealed during the pre-draft process. What made you comfortable with where he's at physically to take
that's probably a better one for Adam, but really that from each team has their own medical report and how it goes, and so from our club, it was something that we were comfortable with.
Completely different topic. Schedule comes out next week. How do you feel about going to Spain?
Sin comentarios. No comment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that one. We'll see Wednesday, I guess, what happens. Donde?
That was nice. Thank you, Nikki.
See, we got candy screwed up now. That's a big deal.
So, Coach, I can kind of feel and see your energy right now, right at this point in time of the season. So what are you most excited about right now? The vets are back. It's rookie camp weekend. So what are you most excited about?
I love this time to really go for it, different ways for the rookies. It's really the teaching, honestly, from the very beginning. We're not going to miss one step of their development along the way. For a lot of the veterans who have been as part of the program, what specific skills do you want to nail in over the next few weeks? These are the things that we're going to work on, and that collaboration and putting that plan together, I do love that. And so it's nice to see how hard everybody's working right off the bat and to find those things to improve upon. So those are the two things. They're they're separate, but I love both of them equally.
And so when you look back on last year's rookie class and then this year's rookie class, what were some of the characteristics that you thought were must-have characteristics, capabilities, what have you, for this year?
It stands out, and not just from last year's class, but I'll speak to that specifically, the work ethic that it takes. And so like when you speak of a guy like Jaden and all that is unseen that goes in, like this is a person that absolutely grinds, and everybody on our team knows that and is appreciative of that because of that work that he puts in. So early on, I want to make sure, man, like come in and be a great teammate. Not every player can become a great player, but you can become a great teammate. The way you're going to support, the way you'll put out the energy, the way you're going to go fight to get it right. Those are things that when you're done playing, you say, man, I played with so-and-so. That dude was a great teammate. Like, what a huge compliment. And then the second thing is like, man, be open to absolutely going for it. All right, this is the vision we have. This is where we think we can take you to. So many times a person coming in from college, they're not sure of that yet. They're not sure what they can be, and so that's our job. This is the vision we have for you, and this is how we're going to take you there. And the people that are willing to just absolutely go for it, you kind of see that take place. And we've said before, like our place isn't for everybody, but for the ones that absolutely go for it and do that, like there are some really, really cool things ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hello.
I'll keep it in English. Trey Amos, when you look at that cornerback room that you have right now, what does he add with his skill sets that may not be with the other guys? How does he enhance the cornerback room?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is in volume, he'll play outside mostly, but it's the length and to be able to defend these contested passes. So often when you're playing man-to-man or close matching and coverage, having that size and length to defend, the guys on the outside, that's one of the things that we really liked about Trey's game. And so adding that, not everybody plays down on the line, some guys play off, but for the people that do, we want to feature that. And so just having versatility to play in different ways, that's a big deal.
And where do you think, when you look at this whole roster and it's still being formed, where you have improved a little bit more this year moving forward?
Where do we have to still improve? One more time?
Where have you think you improved?
Got it. Yes. Well, I would say coming in, I kind of expect like everybody here, like myself included, like what are the things that you want to work on and absolutely see if you can take your game to the next space. I loved seeing out on the field last week the communication, how quickly that was coming along. I loved seeing the speed that they were playing with. There was no hesitation, and so that makes sense. You've been in the system for a year for a lot of the players, so they should pick up at a higher pace to get going. So to see other players now joining into that, it's been cool to see. So I would say the execution, the skill set, the standards, those are the things that I envision, not just from the players, but from the coaches as well.
Hey, Dan. When an undrafted rookie steps foot here for his first weekend here, outside of just making it 53, what do you want to see for him so he could possibly make the practice squad? Yeah,
and I think the central theme of what we do is really based on competition. And there's great examples from players who are in that same space, whether it was last season or seasons prior, that have walked that walk, whether it's on the 53 like Yankoff or Owens that did that in last year, or earning their space on the practice squad for more developmental time. So we don't want them to really think about that yet. We don't really go so far to say what's going to happen in September or what's going to happen. Like, just work these skills, learn the system and the skills that's needed for the system. If we can do that excellently, then the 53 and the practice squad will kind of work itself out. If you're already looking ahead to that, I think you're going to miss all the development, all the things that are going to take place. They're going to fail some for sure, like 100%. How do they bounce back from that, have the right mindset and voice to go after it for the next one, not repeat the mistake? So there's a lot that goes on over the next 5 weeks for them before we get ready for camp. From a goal, can we get them ready so they can go to camp to be their very best and no hesitation, no flinch. And if we can do that, then I thought then this part was a success.
I realize this is probably an AP question, but just from your perspective, what has Gabriel Taylor done and rise to stand out and earn the invite here?
You know, Gabe and the other guys are here on a tryout. What a cool and golden opportunity. And so I love seeing players like him and others really going for it. It's been very worthwhile for he and the other guys to say, okay, I'm seeing what they are, what they stand for, and sometimes where there's tryouts here or other places, it's very valuable. Now that you know what somebody is, and we've all seen where somebody has one spot, they get another opportunity, so it's been very valuable to have these tryout camps. You see people, your understanding of them, so then now you start creating a list of who's next, how do you utilize the guys, so all those guys are off to a good start.
Okay. Hey, Dan, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. At this time last year, I'm sure there were a ton of unknowns, being it was your first year. This time, though, however, 1 year later, how much more comfortable do you feel and truly your staff feel at this point?
I would say I'm as excited, for sure, because of what's ahead, how the roles. So it may be different because it's not our first practice together, but what I can say is I have the same level of excitement to push it and develop and see where we can take players to. So that part feels good. It's the same energy that goes into it for sure for me, and so that's why we're not going to miss one step of their development.
And you touched on it a bit in terms of what you're looking for, specifically that communication, the fact that, signs that guys are learning. But in terms of what you're telling them, whether that be, don't be nervous when you step out there, kind of how do you go through that process of telling them that?
Yeah, I want them to understand, how they're competing. It's not just me against the other player. It's how good you can get. We recognize there's going to be mistakes, and like that is part of the game. It's part of practice, but we really want to see the speed and can you go execute, and then we can give them the feedback for that. And so that's all, just knowing that like there's going to be mistakes, like that's going to happen, that's part of it, but take the coaching, take the corrections, and then keep moving forward. But so far they've really come in wanting to go for it, and it's an excellent place to come as a young player to come and play football. We're a developmental staff, so like we're absolutely pouring into them as hard as we can. There's a number of coaches on the staff that have also seen the game from the lens of the helmet. They've been in this camp. They know what that experience is like. They know what's ahead. And there's some excellent mentors that will meet them here on Monday. This is what you should do. This is what you should look for. And if I was coming into a team, you'd almost give anything to have teammates like they're going to experience on Monday morning. And we're looking forward to that.
Obviously, there's been a lot of exciting news surrounding the team, not necessarily football, but stadium, draft. How excited are you? Does that kind of matriculate through the players? Have you heard any reaction to new stadium, the draft coming to town, all that?
It does, and it reminds us all like why we're here. It really does. From Josh to Adam to myself, the staff, and this is you have a real sense of like what the fan base has been about and what they are, and like we feel that energy as members of the organization. So to be a part of that and to feel that, man, like that's a really cool thing. And so we want to put out this as absolute hard as we can to make sure they know like we're going to give everything we have.
And then with the schedule release, obviously you're going to get it before the rest of us, but is there a sense of anticipation among players and coaches for that, just to know when and where?
Yeah, because now you know the whom, and you don't know when and that. So through the offseason, you're looking at, free agency and mostly interdivision, what changed, what hadn't, and the same thing with the draft. And then as it lays out, it's a solid talking point for a day or two, and then it kind of goes away. But it's fun, to have that. And then you just kind of get back to it. But I love the fact that they've built it up and have different things. We know who we're playing, so that's not as big of a secret. So it's just fun to go through it.
On this side of the road, it's a couple of weeks. We can talk about that.
Yeah, right on.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you guys in a few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
My phone up here.